Welcome to Inside the Audition, the podcast where we go behind the scenes for a deep dive look into the world of auditions. I'm Joe Lars Larson, creator of Actors Audition Club, an international community helping actors book your dream roles in TV, film, and theater.
And I'm Brandon Knox, actor, producer, and co-host. Each episode, we chat with actors and industry professionals to share their audition experiences, insights, and advice.
We provide actors with actionable tips, strategies, and resources to help you elevate your auditions.
We demystify the often intimidating and misunderstood world of auditions to help you succeed.
So whether you're just starting out on your acting journey or you're a seasoned pro, join our Actors Audition Club members as we go
Inside the Audition.
Hello, podcasters. Brandon, you're muted.
Oh, no.
There you go. That is the wrong way to start a podcast, on mute.
I agree.
Unless it's a silent podcast. Did they ever have silent podcasts? Like, remember there were silent movies and then they moved into talkies. Was there ever silent podcasts?
A silent audible experience. Possibly. Maybe like
they didn't do too well.
It's
you
just
know how we got those podcasts
static
where
in
you
the
can
background.
hear things? What about one where you can hear nothing?
I think that's pretty close. That's how ASMR started, I think.
Right, exactly.
And mime.
Exactly. And mine.
Yeah.
Well, welcome. This is episode 153. We got a doozy. We got a great one. Our guest today, it's been a long time coming. We've been bugging her, but she's always had schedule conflicts.
Mm-hmm.
We were waiting for the right time, and the right time is today. Should we just get right into it?
Let's get right into it.
Yeah, we're gonna get right into it. So our guest is an actor. Her TV and film credits include Gray Matter and Paranormal Survivor. She's also a producer, and she has a production company called Quiet Noise Studios. And she's a longtime OG member of Actors Audition Club. Let's give her an Actors Audition Club welcome, Tara O'Brien. There she is. How are you, Tara?
I am fabulous. And how are you?
Yes. Are you ready to do this podcast?
I am. I liked that was Mr. Bill that you did. Oh, no.
Oh, yeah? Who's Mr. Bill?
Mr. Bill from Saturday Night Live, the 70s versions. You should know them. Lars. Yeah, they would do like a skit. And then there's this doll that I have for my dog that he bites, and it says like when he squeezes belly, it's like, oh no.
Wow.
Like, oh Jesus. I'm like, how did you know? I just got that for Frosty.
But it's not, the doll isn't a Mr. Bill doll from Saturday Night Live. It's a different doll that says the same words, or
well, they did a lot of stuff with this doll on Saturday Night Live. You should check it, from the 1970s with Belushi, Radner, like all of them. And then, it's randomly like I got it for my dog because I know the reference.
And the name of the show was what? Saturday Night
Live. It's weird. It's
Saturday afternoon recorded.
Probably don't know. And it's like an old series. No one
recorded from New York City. It's Saturday afternoon.
So anyway, hi.
Hello. Welcome. We're pumped to have you here. Fun fact, we can reminisce and think about the nostalgic good old days. Tara, you want to tell people how you and I met?
So we met on a scripted series that we didn't say anything. We had no dialogue.
Well, we had lines. Yeah, we maybe they weren't scripted, but we said a lot.
Oh yeah. Well, you muted us, so yeah. We were on Paranormal Survivor. So we met in 2015. We were working together on that set, and it was a scary farmhouse. And I believe there were ghosts. and we were moving into it, and I know how to play the harp perfectly. So
Yes, there was
there's
an
that.
there was an old harp. Yeah. Yeah, I think it was an old haunted farmhouse. We
Yes.
were the newlyweds. We were playing a married couple, newlyweds, moving into our dream house in
Yeah.
the country, which
Yep.
unbeknownst to us was haunted by three brothers who I believe one of them murdered all three of them. Like it was like a
Yeah.
murder suicide.
Oh,
Three
Murder. It
three
was
three
something
big old country boys.
okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we met on set, and then you said that you had an audition space, that if I ever needed to do auditions, that you have this. So I was like, yes. So I did that. And then, of course, COVID happened. And then, we had to pivot and figure shit out. And so I ended up, because I had never had a acting agent specifically. I always had an agent for modeling that would do like the commercial side, and sometimes I would get random auditions for TV stuff. But then so during COVID and stuff like that, I ended up merging and moving on, and then I have an agent specifically for acting now. And so I have auditions after auditions. And so I was like, Lars, does he still have his studio? Is that still happening? And then sure enough, it was there. And then it was a souped up version, which is really cool. So you had also like elements to it. And then Brandon is there. And yeah, it's really cool how it's like,
Yeah, you were OG.
I like to consider myself one of the souped up elements.
yeah, yes.
Yeah, I was like, how can I soup up this self-tape studio? Like, maybe some lights, lasers, fog, maybe some ricing stripes or Brandon Knox. What if we got Brandon Knox in here and soup
And
this
you have
thing?
a host of other actors as well that help you out.
Right.
And I just think, it's come such a long way, and it's cool that I saw it from the get, and now it's moving along, and
Yes.
you have a podcast. Like this is all so, it's amazing to see.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we'll talk more about that. But when you did come back to the studio, you were one of the OG members, so you got to see our humble beginnings, and then you were away, and I think you were down in LA, and COVID and all that stuff happened. What was that like? That was about 15 years of COVID. How long was COVID? About 15.
It feels like it's all in one, but it's fine.
So it's great. It's cool to get that perspective, because when you're in it, you don't really see that progress, but when you step away from something for a little while, and you come back.
Because I think I stepped away. It would have been like 2019, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then, so it was like a good 3 years or 4 years. And so coming back into, your studio, it was amazing to see. And I love that. I mean, you want to work with people that are aspiring to be better and to do better, right, and to make things, better for your clients. So you did that. And it was wonderful.
Yeah, it's never good when you haven't seen someone in a while and you're like, oh, they are not doing too well.
Or
what happened?
Yeah, exactly. Or they just sort of like haven't progressed.
You want to see people moving forward and progressing and leveling up and growing.
I see so many people come in and out, so many actors. Whenever I'm doing my self tapes, I'm like leaving and someone's coming through, and it's so great to see, just like so much. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot. You're like
good vibes. Great. Well, I know that we're going to talk more about auditions and the studio and your audition process. But first, something we like to do with our guests is a little thing called 1 minute life story. Brandon is going to throw a stopwatch on the clock here. You've got 60 seconds, aka 1 minute. And we want to hear all about the life and times of Tara O'Brien. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tara O'Brien's 1 minute life story, starting now.
All right. How did I get into this? I was working at a local magazine, and we were working with photographers, and this photographer came in and they were looking at the article, and they were like, why are you behind the desk? You should be shooting. And I'm like, oh my God. all right, whatever. So then we do a test shoot, and then they're like, you're a natural, and then go out to these auditions. And then I got these auditions. They were like billboard ads, and I got both of them. And then all of a sudden I was like, okay, I'm going to go into modeling. And then acting came because a photographer I worked with, he was doing set photography, and they lost their lead actor on the short film. So then they were like, can you act? And I'm like, I think so. I've also been doing movies since I was like 13, making my own movies, producing them, writing them. They were all horrible and ridiculous, but it was good practice. And so anyway, I was like, all right, I will do it. And then I auditioned and I got the part. And then the short film went and won some awards at some indie film festivals. And then I got deeper into it. And then, yeah, I got an agent for modeling. And then now I have, and then I moved to LA for a year. And then I went to school there, did acting school at Van and Chubbuck, this like underground, like amazing acting school. And then I came back up here. I got married, and then I got a modeling agent. And then now I have an acting agent, and her name is Jana Abrams, and I love her. She's the best ever. And I think I don't know.
Well, Brandon, do we need to penalize her for going over a minute, or have the judge waived the penalties?
Well, we're waiving the penalties.
How much over did I go?
I don't know, 15 seconds, 20 seconds.
Probably, yeah, about that.
It's okay. Maybe we need to make that alarm louder.
Yeah, I didn't hear the alarm. I didn't even hear anything. I was just like, was it 30 seconds?
It was supposed to be 60, but we're fine. This is our podcast, so we make up the rules.
Yeah, we make up the rules.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Tara O'Brien's 75-second life story.
Yeah.
One thing I want to just talk about, I love that your first on-camera gig as an actor was just because you were there and someone bailed. So that's the art of showing up, and for that other person, the art of not showing up, lost in that gig. But that's really cool. And were you on set, or the person just knew you and were like, "Hey, are you around?"
So it was a photographer that messaged me at like after, I guess, like that night or whatever, and he said, "Hey, they're looking for a to fill in an actor to fill in, and you look like the vibe that they're looking for. Would you audition?" And I was like, I don't have anything to lose, and I wanted to do, I don't know, acting has been my first love since I was like a kid, and so it just felt easy to be like, okay, I don't have anything to lose here. I just go audition. Like, who cares? Like, it's like when I would go to go-sees for modeling and stuff, it's the same thing. So I was like, all right. And then I just like, I don't know.
And then it won an award too, or was that an award show?
We went to the Houston Film Festival. And the Houston Film Festival is quite like illustrious. Like Steven Spielberg's had movies there like in the 70s and stuff. And so, we won an award there. And so then I decided to go down with the cast because the producer, the director, the writer was going down, and they asked some cast members if they wanted to go. And I'm like, heck yeah, I want to go to Houston. I want to check it out. And then, part of the package, I was saying, I got this mug.
You got that mug back then? You still have a mug from that long ago? That's amazing.
I mean, because failure is not an option.
Love it.
It's like you especially like just having to like, with auditions, you don't get you hope to get every audition, but you got to keep going, and failure is not an option, especially if you love what you do. So
love it. So you mentioned acting being one of your first loves since when you were a kid. Can you tell us about one of your first performances as a kid?
Well, I would do so I would have like dreams, and then I would like act them out at breakfast. So I would say like I started doing like storytelling, and then I would do stuff in school. But then it was when I got a video camera when I was 13. My parents gave me a video camera because they were just like, just give her this because whatever.
Was it VHS? What was it? Or like
microfilm? No, not
or...
VHS, but thank you. Like
that's me speaking then.
Jesus. So I started just producing my own movies. I started I also was like really crazy because I knew that I didn't read well on camera. Like I always had this like knowing, It was definitely, I was meant to do this because I was like, I'm gonna just like not hire, because I couldn't hire my friends, but you know, I would ask my friends to be the lead, and then I would be supporting, and then I would write it, and then I would direct it. And I had one time, I had like about 10 people, okay, and they, by the end of it, they had a pool party and didn't invite me because apparently I was a very bossy director. Like, and they told me later. They were like, "Yeah, we had a pool party and we didn't invite you because we hated you. You were the meanest." I was just like, "Guys, the lighting's going. I need the scene set up. Can you?" Like, I was like taking it seriously, like I was getting paid or something, and they were just like, "This is summer vacay. Like, we're just here because we're friends with you, but you're being insane." And so, yeah, I was very serious.
The hard ass director, and then there was a cast mutiny.
There was. They hated me at the end, and I was like, guys, like, let's get this shot, and let's, like, can we move through it? They'd be laughing. They wouldn't be taking it serious. I'm like, why aren't they taking it seriously?
Like, let's go. We're losing daylight. We're losing daylight.
The light is going, because I don't have, like, I didn't know how to like set up lights really, so I knew like daylight would be best. And so yes, I was like, the location, it gets darker, like where we're going at this time, we need to get this done. And they were like, you know, it went over them because they weren't meant to do this, and I obviously was supposed to do this my whole
I love that. I think I saw one of those. I think you showed me an old home video movie. It was maybe you and one other girl.
Yeah,
I remember was there lots of screaming? Was there something scary happening, or?
Probably. Yeah, we did a lot of, so what I would do homages. So I wouldn't necessarily make up anything brand new. It would be like, I would see a movie and I'm like, ooh, I feel inspired, you know, or like The Psycho. Like one of my first films I watched as a child, my mom, like Rear Window, which Hitchcock. And so like, again, like that's amazing quality as my first like scary film. So then I started watching a bunch of different Hitchcock movies, and so Psycho obviously appealed to me. So I had my friend Amy. She was in the shower. I did the catch up. I mean,
nice. Oh, yeah. If you still have that, I would love to see that. That's
I still have it. Of course, I still have it. I'll post it. I post sometimes on my IG. Clips, like to reels or to music, because the sound, of course, I didn't have a sound person, so I could only do what I could do. Right. But it had heart.
Yeah, I mean, already 2 great lessons is showing up, like you're showing up and meeting people, like you knew that on-set photographer and he knew you, so it was you built a relationship, and that got you into your first short film, which then won an award. And then when you were younger, just the idea of make things, create things, put stuff out there. If you love it, just do it, and good things will come from it. And I think that's
yes, I agree, because even like, so at Christmas, like holidays, I would be like planning stuff before the holidays and like booking time with my friend. Can you sleep over this time? You know, like I would never just like goof off, if that makes sense. Like I was always like creating something. And like now, if I was a kid now, I would be like some sort of influencer person, because I just had this like, so I was always just making product. I was always like, you know, my poor parents had to sit through it, and they were just like, what is this? And sometimes it was very boring, for sure. But then I made this movie called Fungi Woman, because she would kill fungus everywhere she went.
She what? Say that again.
Kill fungus. Like, so like if you had like a pear or an apple in it, you know how it like turns?
Yeah.
She would come and she would be like, no, I got this. It's fine.
You were like an antibiotic. You were a penicillin lady.
Where did the inspiration for Fungus Woman come from?
No, and then her arch enemy was Spore Man.
Wow, that's creative. That could be a cartoon.
Spore Man. I put a garbage bag over my body. And
nice.
Spore Man.
Yeah. And then we have a fight. We have a duel. And she wins, of course. But yeah, so that actually was out of my brain, but a lot of them were homages to.
Do you remember where the inspiration for Fungus Girl came from?
Fungi Woman.
Fungi Woman.
Yeah, there was a part 2 that I did. There was part 1 and part 2, And I forget who was the arch enemy in part 2. It was somebody else. You get to I kidnap a princess. Because I played the bad guys.
Yeah.
And then I put something over my face. I remember I put like some lace thing over because I just knew I didn't read well on camera. It was crazy. Like I had a moment where I was like, the classic ugly duckling swan thing. So it was like ugly duckling vibes back then. But I was just like, I don't know. I was just learning my craft is, I think the point is that, so like in front of camera, how I read, scenes, like the story, the arc of the story, like all that stuff, I was like just doing and learning. And then at nighttime, I wouldn't get invited to like parties or anything. And so I would watch Saturday Night Live. And then I got obsessed with it. Then I wanted to watch all the old with Belushi, Radner, Aykroyd, like all of them. And then I went through the 80s. Then I went so it was like I was just learning so much. And then I was watching movies, like old, like black and white movies. Like it's almost like I schooled myself in a way.
That's great.
And then when I was working for the magazine, then like I got pulled into it. And then I just knew, because the photographer was like, how do you know how to like pose and stuff? And I'm like, I don't know. I think just from watching all that stuff, I just knew what to do.
You knew your angles. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I like knew my angles. I knew how to I just knew. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I just and then it like snowballed. It was crazy. I like got these like big ad campaigns. And then my parents, they were just like, because they didn't really, they're in finance and whatnot, and they work on like Bay Street. And so they were like, corporate job, security, which is fair because parents, they want, that for you. And then, so they didn't support me. So I was just like, I'm doing this. And then they saw me on ads in the subway and they saw me on like billboards and they're like, okay, how is she doing this? Okay, they were just like, they couldn't believe it. And then they just started they were just like proud, I guess. And then they were like, okay, we'll support her. She's obviously making moves and she's serious. So it went from there.
Mm-hmm. So when did the modeling aspect start of your career?
So it started after I worked at the magazine, and then I was like, I modeled for a while on my own. I was like, I don't need an agent. I'm going to do this myself. No. You need an agent for sure for both modeling and acting. Definitely my advice would be for sure to send in your pictures and do all that because they can broker the money aspect of it. And then your client base is way more vast than you can get yourself. So I guess I just got all oh, I'm getting billboards and ad campaigns. I could do this myself, but no, you need a team. Team is definitely key and clutch with this. So so I did a lot on my own, but then I got with a modeling agency. But before I got with the modeling agency, I went to LA for a year. And I went to acting school in LA, and then I did odd jobs to pay my rent in LA. And I survived LA, which was great.
Yeah.
I didn't die. So.
Do you remember your first successful audition booking? I know your very first thing, you were just given the role and nailed it, but your first successful audition booking?
Well, I guess it's the film. Because or do you mean when it actually get because that
actually auditioning? Oh, you did audition for that one. You said
yeah,
they did
and
make
then
you audition.
I got it. Yeah, and then I had another audition for Gray Matter with these lovely people, this production company, this indie production company, and that was a cool one because I got it. I played an alien and I play a badass character, but before I tell you about that story, another great audition that I got for True Dating Stories, the CBC that one.
Renowned as one of the greatest episodes of CBC's True Dating Stories that's out there. Shout out to Pat Thornton as well, who depicted your husband.
Yes.
Do you want to share who your husband is?
Yeah, we can.
Beloved in Canadian entertainment and world entertainment, world music.
Yeah, that's him. Oh, you want me to say it?
Yeah, go ahead. Who is
Okay. Snow.
No, yes. Informa.
Yeah.
Like, give 'em now.
I mean, yes,
Yeah,
that was great, Lars.
that was my impression. No, nobody.
Butcher that.
He speaks
Butcher.
so fast. Oh, of course I
No,
butchered. I was butchering it on purpose. So
no, I know. I
tell him
know.
tell him if he listens to this, don't be mad at me, Darren.
No,
Don't
no.
be mad.
He wouldn't be, but yeah. So that would so I got that. So the audition was email and write out your crazy date story. So I had one, but I didn't say who my date was because my date was Darren.
Right.
But when I was emailing for this casting, because I was still doing my own stuff at that time, I didn't mention who it was or anything, and we were engaged at the time. But I got a call back, and then I went and I told the story at the wherever it was, and then I heard that I got it. So I didn't say anything because I wanted the story to win on its own merit because it's freaking hilarious.
Right.
And I'm not going to say anything. If you want to check it out, True Dating Stories.
You got to give us a little in a nutshell what happened. It's crazy.
It's too wild and it actually everything that's in there actually happened. There is nothing that is a lie there, like nothing. So I'm not going to ruin it. Just go see it. It's online. You can find it. But and it's only I think it's what is it? They're 12 minutes each or something. So it's easy.
Right.
But anyway, so when I booked it, then I said, hey, there's a caveat to this. And it's that I'm engaged to him and it's actually Snow. And they literally were like, what? They were like, this makes it even more layered and hilarious and amazing. And then they said, would he be cool with coming and talking about his side of the story on camera for the show? And I was like, oh my gosh. I'm like, of course, I'm sure he would. And so he did. And so so it was like a reenactment show, but a funny one. And so we would talk about it. So the girl that they hired is this actor. And so she played me and I knew her from modeling. So that was really cute. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. I'm glad they picked her, whatever. So flash to the movie, The Gray Matter. They had approached her, the girl that played me. And I can't remember how I met the director or whatever. I honestly can't remember. But all I know is that was one of the reasons I got the audition because I was like, oh, that girl is playing me. And I would love to audition for this. And they were like, what? That's so crazy. And then I told them about the episode. They were like, we'd love to see you. So then I auditioned for them. And then I got the role of the bad alien in that sci-fi thriller.
Love it. I just dropped the link, the YouTube link. I found it on YouTube. So if you're checking the comments in Facebook or the comments in YouTube, you should be able to see that. Okay. That was great. It's
pretty legendary. It's pretty it's hilarious.
It's crazy. And was that legit your first date?
It was not our first date.
Okay.
It was a few dates in. So gotcha. It was a dating story that happened. And that's and what's crazy is that that's just one of the crazy stuff that we had dating. Our first dating story was he asked me, where do you want to go? And I picked Loblaws. I was like, let's go look at food and walk around.
Loblaws is in the grocery store.
I'll tell you why. As in the grocery store on Jarvis, the big one there.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Quincy and Jarvis. Okay, that was where we had our first date.
That's actually pretty smart.
Okay, so a couple of things why I said that. Because if he was just like, that's really weird and what the hell, I'd be like, you're not hello, you asked me what I wanted, so you have to say okay to whatever. Right. B, it was in walking distance of where my parents' house is. So my parents' condo. So I could bail if it was just whatever, right? If I didn't like it. Yeah. And I also just think it's funny. I'm we can just look at food and laugh and it's just a funny, I don't know. I just like doing that, you know?
And you needed to buy groceries. So you were kind of killing two birds with one stone and grabbing some fresh avocados.
Yeah. Hey, So
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
so he was just like, okay, sure, whatever. And then we went to Loblaws. We walked down the aisles, and I remember one time he like picked up a frying pan, and then he picked up some bacon or something, and then he started like, and I'm like, okay,
Nice.
this is hilarious. Like he's really funny,
He's
and
doing
he can go
bits right away. Yeah, that's
and
good.
he can go anywhere, and we can have fun. That was the moral of that. I was like, can we have fun here? Can he
Right.
go with it? And
Did
he
you
did.
go steal a random grape, or did you go to the bulk section and grab a chocolate
Get an
almond?
olive.
No, we ended up leaving. That we ended up walking, and we walked all the way by the where you get the water taxis and stuff, and then we sat on a bench in that area there, and then he was showing me like different constellations and stuff. Like it was really cute and sweet and like very low key. Yeah. So that was the first date.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, that I remember when I met you, that kind of blew my mind because that
Yeah.
me growing up, that song and his music was like it was the height of music at that time. And I know that song had a resurgence recently with, is it Big Daddy Yankee? Is that who did?
Daddy Yankee and yeah, Con Calma.
Yeah.
20 it dropped 2019 in March, I think, and then it went bazonkers. And then during COVID, we were going to like award shows and stuff. Like they had, you know, they were doing COVID. Everything was like safe and everything, like everything. We literally didn't get sick at all the whole time. But we were on the go, going like he won like Billboard awards. He won
Right.
Spanish awards. He won so many, like it was crazy. It was that's like COVID was kind of a blur, and it was kind of fun for us. So we made the best of it, I guess.
You guys are a power couple, an entertainment power couple. I know you're going to share some of your future aspirations and projects that you're working on a little later. Let's scoot back to auditions.
Yes.
You want to share what's your audition process? So from the time your agent sends you a breakdown to the time you come shoot it with us, how does that all work out for you?
So how I work this is I love the idea that there is a place that I can be silly in, I can be loud, and like, you know, I work with you, I work with Brandon, and you guys are so helpful, and you make it come alive. And sometimes you need to, like, sometimes at home it's distracting. They're like, for example, like my husband, like I'm like, hey, can you say these lines? And he's just like, he will sometimes, but I don't want to bother him to do, like, there's sometimes they're like quite long, and they're like, you have to get into it. So I think it's really lovely to be able to go somewhere that you can get all of that, and no one's like bats an eye. They're like, yep, no problem. Oh yeah, yep, let's do this. Okay, so what do we do? I'm like, sometimes I get confused, and I feel like, and I'm like, Brandon, how do I do, like, what are they asking here? Like, what do I, and then he's like, oh, you know, because you need another set of like eyes on it and another actor's opinion on stuff. Because also too, both of you give amazing feedback, and I use like your points, like, in your, you know, your comments when
we like to sprinkle a little dust onto things there.
Yeah, it really works. So I started officially with Jana just this summer. And so the first week I got like so many auditions, and I would say I've been working for like a couple months now, and I've got a bunch of holds. I've had callbacks, all from you guys, because I didn't get any callbacks or holds from me doing it at home. So also too, I will say that if it's easy, I'll quickly do it at home. But sure. So most of the time I'm going to come to you guys. And also what I like is that you guys let me do, like, I can do a couple in my session. And so you can bang out a bunch, and like, it's so satisfying.
Yeah, where you can let a few stack up. You got a couple commercial auditions, one for a movie, and then you can get them all done in one session here in a professional setting. And I know what you mean with working. I mean, sometimes it can work out with spouses, a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, but if it's not their thing, if they're not trained, or if it's just like, he doesn't care. It's not his passion, right? His passion is music. It would be like if he was like, hey, come drop a verse on this song. He'd be like, oh, I don't know.
I'd be
Okay.
like,
But
I'm gonna sweat and I'm stressing. I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. So it's like poor him. I'm like, you have to read the paragraph. And he's like, what? Like, no.
right.
I can't bug him. So yeah, so it gives me this place where I can feel safe and I can feel seen, I can feel heard. And then also too, if we don't like something, we do it over. And then whatever we do properly, then we send there.
Right.
So
right. Versus at home, if you get one and you're like, don't quite like it, but then you're like, I don't want to ask again. He's gonna like, it's a bummer for him to have to do it again with you. And it's like, okay, let's really, we got to do another one. Whereas here we're like, yeah, whatever you need. You
yeah,
and great.
I also appreciate like you'll say like, because it's hard to like decide like which one do I like better. So the fact that you guys are like, no, this one for sure, like that helps me be like, okay, all right, done. Then that gets sent. Whereas like when you're at home, you're just like, I don't know. I think this one, and I'm just gonna do that. And then you feel like, did I send the right one? And it's a lot of you're not sure.
Yeah, that's actually a great point. And a lot of the times when we're the people on camera, we're paying attention to things that don't matter. Like we'll look at it and be like, oh, I don't like how my eye did that or my hair was here, rather than storytelling or acting choices being the determining factor when you thumbs up that take. It's like, oh, I don't like how I did that or this. And then but when we're behind the camera, we're like, no one's looking at that. This was the better take because of this, and this. Let's go with that one.
Yeah, I feel way more confident when I'm finished shooting at your studio. And I'm just like, and like there were times when I did get callbacks and then I got holds, but I knew like right after I like worked with you guys, I was like, no, I got this. I'm definitely getting a callback. And I just, the idea of like just being so clear on camera too is really important, because sometimes like, yes, you can, you know, at your home, but sometimes things in the background can be distracting and you're not going to know, or your lighting might not be as good. Because now we have to play, like I was saying to Brandon, it's a little bit of a tough spot for actors, because now we have to be producers. We have to figure out, we're lighting people, we're camera people, we're like all these things in one, when we were doing one thing, acting, and now we have to do and editing. We have to be an editor. Like there's a lot involved in self-tapes now. And if you're not that skilled in it, then it could actually kind of ruin your chances, because the casting people aren't going to be able to see you lighting wise or anything. And then they're like, move on. I mean, we don't know how it works when they're looking at tapes. Right. So that's another really good point, is that the lighting is on point. You've got your camera set up. You guys help edit it. Like that gives me like, I have way less stress.
Yeah. You always come. You're in a great mood. You got your morning coffee or a snack from the local bakery or something. Treats for Luna sometimes as well. Yeah. And you're just focused on doing your thing, and we're the support team. I think that's what it comes down to is you have a team of people helping you with it, rather than having to feel like, oh crap, I got to do all these things on my own, and I have to think about my performance as well. So that makes it challenging. And one of my favorite things, and I know you love it too, is clap them in and clap them out. So we have, for those that don't know, we have a personal company. It's I don't know if it's formally in our corporate books, but we have an unofficial rule of clap them in and clap them out, which stemmed from my university days. I lived in houses of 5 or 6 guys, real tight buddies, and we always had a rule: when someone was leaving for class or coming home from the bar or whatever, if we were sitting in the living room, when someone would come home, we would all stand up and be like, hey, and you'd walk in and kind of take your applause. And it actually feels really good. And it's kind of appeals a little bit to our egos a little bit, or like when you're on set and you get your that's a wrap on Tara, everybody. And
wow,
like, oh, thank you.
So true. A little bit of applause does go such a long way. Like when I'm leaving and you guys are like, all right, Tara O'Brien, you're like, ooh, my name. And then you're like, like it just automatically you feel this sense of like, yes, I just did that and I just won. I don't know what, but won.
Yeah, as you walk out on the red carpet. Pro tip to everyone, whether you're an actor or not, I believe you should institute a clap them in, clap them out rule for your family, for your home, for your roommates. It does make a big difference and it feels good.
It really,
it's crazy how good it feels. Actually, it's kind of silly that it's like, oh, why is this? I'm like instantly like you're kind of buzzing and you're like, oh, I did a good thing. Yeah.
Well, okay. And here's where I'm at right now is that I haven't booked anything officially yet. So I'm at that point where I'm like, I'm still excited to do it though. See, that's the thing is that you can't give up because failure's not an option. So, you know, I haven't booked anything at this point yet with my new agent, and that's okay because guess what? I will. And I just want to let everyone know just keep going and don't give up.
Yeah, you've had, and the proof positive is you've had a crap ton of callbacks as well, which is really all we can hope for. All we have control over is our performance in the audition, and you want to leave feeling like, hey, I did my best. I put forward a high quality audition that's going to put me in the running because I mean, when it comes down to callback, any of those people who got the callback could potentially do the role. Maybe even people who didn't get a callback could have pulled it off professionally and are strong enough actors to do it, but there can be only one. So you can't get too bummed out about that. It's just they went in another direction. And I know you're not. You always have a great attitude about that kind of thing. And you control what you can control and you let go of the things that we can't control.
Yeah, I just really wanted to shout that out is that, you know, I haven't booked anything yet. And I'm still like, I'm still going to go. I'm still eager. I'm still, you know, there's nothing that's going to make me feel like away or anything because I'm just excited to be. And I feel like I just feel grateful for the team that I have at your studio.
Right.
And then my agent is amazing. And so, yeah, I just.
Also, sorry to cut you off, but also what's great about you is you've always got other things going on between your modeling or between things that you're producing. You're not seeking external validation to like to tell you, oh, I'm good at this. Like your value is internal and you've always got other things going on, rather than some people are like, if you haven't booked something in a little while, you can get really bummed out, be like, oh, can I do this? Am I cut out for this? Am I a good actor? Why don't they like me? But you got to seek your own approval as an artist and as an actor first. And then when the bookings come, that's great. If they want to use you, that's great. But you're never feeling like, oh, I'm no good at this because someone hasn't given me their stamp of approval.
I love that. That is exactly it. And just being excited about, you know, what your craft is and your job, whatever that is. And I love what I'm doing. And I'm happy to be part of all this. And I feel really grateful. And I know I will book something. You know, that's the key is that I probably already booked something. Okay. That's where we're at. All right. Manifestation is a thing. And I'm highly into it. So yeah, I feel like just never give up. And just go and do it. Your 4 agreements, right? Or was it 3 agreements?
4. You're right.
4.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
What are the 4 agreements?
Be impeccable with your word. Don't take things personally. Don't make assumptions, and always do your best.
Yeah.
There you go, Don Miguel Ruiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, that's
You've sort of already touched on it, but we always like to ask, would there be advice that you would give your past artist self?
Oh, geez. I say go with the flow. My 13-year-old self, that you're going to have so much fun and you're going to do amazing things and you're going to have fun and listen, I feel like I still haven't reached my potential, but that's not to say that I've done a lot of cool things and I feel really good and proud of myself for getting where I am. And there's a lot more, but yeah, I'm so happy that I got to where I am. And yeah, so my 13-year-old self, oh my gosh, just keep going and don't give up. And geez, she was, oh man, she at night, she would be like, I wish I could, I want this and I want that. And like, sometimes I know that I would get down because there would be like dances and no one would ask me to dance. And, I'd be on, like, I'd be a wallflower. And all of that switches around. And geez, it's just so cool. Like when you do look back at all the like
Right.
things that you always hoped and dreamed and then you got it. Whoa, that's pretty cool. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a great point, and I've heard people say this, like reminding yourself, because there is that false sense of like, oh, I'm climbing the ladder, and you get something, then you want something bigger, either more money or more screen time or
yeah.
higher up on the call sheet or whatever it might be, and then we forget that. And the quote that I've seen online is, remember that where you are right now, a
Mm,
past version of yourself dreamed of being where you are. And there's thousands of people that dream of what you've already accomplished right now. But we find these ways of like, oh, I want more. It's not enough. It's not enough. And so taking a second every once in a while to be like, no, I've achieved a shit ton. I've already made dreams come true. When I was younger, to even think that I would be here would have blown my fucking mind. And here I am complaining about it not being bigger than some other thing. It's funny
yeah.
how we do that.
Yeah, right. So it's like sitting in the moment and just taking stock of all the things that you've done so far. And that, yes, your past self would have been like, whoa, wait, we did that? Oh my God. So it's so true. Just being grateful and being present, I think, is important.
Love it. So
Mhm.
let's talk about future aspirations. I know you have your own production company, Quiet Noise Studios. Ever since I've known you, you've had different iterations, either scripted shows or reality type shows that you've been working on and pushing down the development highway. So
Yep.
tell us what you got going on now and what future Tara O'Brien has in store.
Well, oh gosh, just I honestly feel so blessed. My best friend and I, Lauren Shell, have Quiet Noise Studios, and we have a music docuseries in the works. And yes, this is like the third iteration of this idea, but it's amazing. We finished our sizzle reel, and so yeah, it's in development, and things are percolating, which is great. But I will say too, just remember it's the long haul, and that's thing. Be patient. I think patience, like it really is a virtue. You can't. Things will be done in the time it's supposed to, and nothing before that. And so you got to just keep plodding along. And yeah, that's all I can say about the production side of it. So yeah, so we have that we're working on. And then Darren and I, or well, Snow, Darren O'Brien, aka him, but we have done a cover of a magazine, a Toronto-based magazine, and that I think is coming out in September. So yeah, and there'll be like we get the cover story too. So that was really exciting because another thing that I really wanted was to have us on a cover of a magazine, and that happened in the summer. So that was really cool. And it's really lovely. And yeah, the team was incredible. Ellie Stang took the pictures. She's an amazing photographer. And so yeah, that's coming out. And then I am working on a skincare line with a family friend who has been in the business for.
Look at you, Kardashian here. You'll be a billionaire in no time.
Yeah, he asked me what he thought and would I be interested. And I have to say that over the years, I do, obviously, because I am a model in front of camera, I've been taking care of my skin, and it is like a religion for me. Like, I love it. And my mom actually got me into it and had me doing like getting facials at like 16 and like proper skincare. So I think it's always been something that's been in my life. And so to be able to make people feel good about themselves and then like inspire them to have like a fun regime in the morning that gives them just makes them feel face forward, they can face the world. That is just everything to me. That's, you know, women, just like we already have so much to deal with and all of that. So to have a good self-esteem and inspire would be, you know, one of the things that I want to do. So that is happening. We have two products that we're in trials right now. And that's really cool because it's like I had this idea of these like ingredients and like to see it like from my brain, seeing it in my hand, and then I actually used it because I did a segment on a new show called The Good Stuff with Mary Berg. I did like a fashion segment, and so I actually wore the two things. Like I put it on my face, then I put the makeup on after, so I actually get to see how it reads on camera, like actual like television, which is cool. And I think it's gonna read really well. But like just like I can't believe I like made something and it's like tangible.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, it's really a fun.
Does it have a name? Does the line have a name yet?
I cannot say too much on it, but it is getting trade, because like you have to go through registering it and stuff.
Right.
There's like things you have to do with lawyers and different things, but that's happening. I know that's my robot move of like.
Right. I like it.
I am a lawyer robot. Well, when you have some samples, I could take a little.
Well, it is a genderless line.
There you go.
So men, women, whatever, whoever, people. They can use it. Skin. So it's really, and actually Darren is one of my test subjects.
Love it.
Yep, he's the guinea pig, which is lovely, and he's loving it too. Like he because also I actually instilled where like for his face, because he's in front of camera and things, and so I've been, you know, making sure that he gets his facials, and then I put, you know, I have all my like potions and lotions to put on his face, and so yeah, he's into it and he really loves it, and it looks really good, and it's working really nicely because he is a totally different skin type than me. So
well, you know what they say, the couple that skin cares together stays together.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think they say that. Brandon, do you have any other questions for Tara today?
No, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Tara.
We've covered a lot. Yeah, this has been great. We appreciate you coming on. And Tara, I think we've talked about this before, but I'll reiterate it. We always love your energy. You're very positive, and we often hear the term from our acting coach, Tom Todoroff, saying change the molecules in the room when you enter a room. And I think you do have that ability with your energy and your enthusiasm, an extra sparkle in your eyes when you come in. And also I'll say that, but also the fact that you're always creating your own things, you're making your own opportunities, and you're pushing things forward, versus a lot of actors and artists will sit back on their heels, wait for an email from an agent, or wait for someone to give them their big break. But there's really not time for that. So I appreciate you. You really inspire us. And every time you come here, there's an energy lift in the studio. So thank you.
Oh gosh, geez. Thank you for that. Vice versa with you two. And like I said, like I feel very confident with the auditions that I submit because of you guys. And also too, I have so much fun. I think I laugh so hard sometimes that like I get like belly aches. Like it's hilarious. And that also is just a testament to the environment that you provide for us, is that, yeah, like I literally am having the best time at an audition. And like, you know, that's just it's amazing. And then it actually supports your audition too, because you can just see, I don't know, like that energy exchange gets captured, and then the people watching it are probably like, they probably die and have a laugh, because there's been times when we've been able to improv, Brandon, and like I swear to God, I'm like crying laughing after. And all the times that happens, I always get the callbacks. And I can't imagine what they're thinking when they watch it. They're probably dying laughing because like it's too funny. Like the one that we just did, you were like, there was something where I go on a tangent because I'm at a therapist thing and you're the therapist and you're like, okay, we're going to move away from the bread and we're going to like, how's the mattress feel? And just like, I died. And like, my face is just like, okay. And then I keep going, but you're just like, no, enough with the bread. We're going to move away from the bread is how you said it. And I'm like, like, just, I can't. It's just a joy to come to your studio space.
Thank you. And that's what it's supposed to be. If you think like, when did you start? You started when you were a kid, and you didn't start because of a paycheck or because of an IMDb credit. You started because you had creative ideas and you wanted to make things and you wanted to have fun with your friends, even though maybe you're a little militant with them back in the day. But it's
literally lighting.
Fun. It's
okay. It was the lighting, and we all know actors, if you don't have good light, it's not going to be good. The whole production is going to be ruined.
You got to hire better grips. Yeah. Yeah. And our Tom Todoroff, our acting coach, he always talks about this too, is if you're not fun, you're done. Funny is money. Charming is disarming. Nobody ever dumps someone because they were too funny. And his classic line is, "It's called a play. It's not called a serious. It's called a play."
I love that because you're playing and having fun. Oh right. God, that is really great advice.
And it's sad how often we forget that because we get into our world of having to achieve things or dealing with rejection and all that. And we forget why we started this in the first place. So stick to the joy. Yeah, find the joy and find the play.
Rejection is protection.
That's good.
That's a Katy Perry song.
Shout out Katy Perry. Yeah.
Well, this is awesome. In every way she can.
Thank you so much for being on the show. All of our listeners, be sure to share this out on Facebook and YouTube. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure to follow Tara at The Real Snow White. The Real, REEL, Snow like snow, and White, WHYTE. We'll link it up in the links as well. But thank you so much, Tara. This is awesome. And we'll see you in the studio. Oh, wait, one more thing. Yes. One more thing, Brandon. That's a wrap on Tara O'Brien, everybody.
Yeah.
At least I'm not penalized for going over on my origin story, but it's fine. I'm fine.
You'll be fine. We'll fix it in post.
Okay. Good. Please do. Cut me off.
Yes. Fine. All right. This is amazing. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the studio soon.
Hey.
Bye, everybody.
See ya. Bye.